Your mind is a battlefield, and right now you are losing it without even realizing a war is being fought, because every few seconds your attention is pulled, stretched, fractured by notifications lighting up like flares in the dark, endless scrolling with no bottom, tabs opening inside tabs inside thoughts, the body sitting still while the mind runs in frantic circles, twitching, reaching, craving, jumping from impulse to impulse like an animal that cannot remain in one place for more than a breath. This is the monkey mind, restless and impulsive, addicted to novelty, allergic to silence, unable to sit with itself without chewing on stimulation, and this wandering is not harmless, it is weakness, and weakness is always punished, maybe not by death anymore but by mediocrity, anxiety, shallow thinking, fragmented days, and the slow erosion of your ability to focus long enough to build anything meaningful, to create anything real, to be present inside your own life instead of constantly escaping it, because a mind that cannot stay is a mind that cannot see, and a mind that cannot see is always being led somewhere it did not choose, always reacting instead of deciding, always consuming instead of creating. Meet David, a capable man, intelligent, motivated, full of quiet ambition and unrealized potential, who wakes up early wanting to work, makes coffee, opens his laptop, tells himself today will be different, today he will finally focus, today he will finally move forward, today he will become the person he knows he could be. He sits down, opens the document, feels the brief rush of intention, that clean moment where possibility feels real, focuses for 3 minutes, then without deciding, without consciously choosing, his hand reaches for the phone, a vibration, a message, a headline, a short video, a harmless glance that turns into 5 minutes disappearing without resistance. He puts the phone down, slightly annoyed, slightly guilty, promising himself he will stop, and tries again. 3 more minutes pass. A thought intrudes asking if anyone replied, if something important happened, if he missed something. He checks, nothing matters, nothing changes, but the damage is already done, the focus is broken, the depth is gone. By noon he is exhausted, yet nothing meaningful has moved forward, his mind foggy, his patience thin, his confidence quietly leaking away, and he thinks he lacks discipline. He thinks something is wrong with him, that he is lazy or broken or defective. But that is a lie. David does not lack discipline, he lacks trained attention, and attention once fragmented does not magically return on its own, it must be rebuilt deliberately, painfully, through repetition. Because 400 years ago a warrior understood this enemy better than most people alive today, a man undefeated in over 60 duels, yet his greatest victory was not over men, not over blades, not over fear, but over the wandering mind itself. He understood that distraction is not a minor flaw, it is a fatal opening, a crack in the armor through which defeat enters. He called the solution Enzen no Metsuke, gazing at the far mountain, because a warrior who fixates dies. Stare at the blade and miss the feat, focus on the face and miss the strike from the side, think too much and you are already late, so the eyes rest as if looking past the opponent toward a distant mountain. Relaxed, open, unripping, and suddenly the entire field becomes visible without clinging to any single detail, sword, feet, breath, ground, intention, environment, all held at once without tension, controlled openness, awareness without attachment, exactly what the modern mind has lost, because your phone trains the opposite, narrowing attention, pulling it into tunnels, rewarding interruption, mistaking stimulation for awareness, teaching your nervous system that silence is dangerous and novelty is safety. Every task switch leaves attention residue behind, fragments of your mind stuck on what you abandoned, weakening your ability to stay present, stacking cognitive debt until your thoughts feel heavy and sluggish. Dopamine does not reward satisfaction but seeking, not arrival but pursuit, not depth but novelty, endless reaching without rest. David is not lazy, he is hijacked, his nervous system trained by algorithms to crave interruption and flee stillness. So the mind must be retrained like a weapon, not with hacks, not with apps, not with tricks or shortcuts, but with practice, with friction, with discomfort, because real focus is forged, not downloaded. Level 1 is the candle gaze, sitting in darkness with a single flame for 5 minutes, doing nothing but looking softly, not staring, not forcing, just resting the eyes as thoughts rebel and urges scream to escape. Boredom rises, irritation follows, memories surface, plans intrude, the itch to check the time appears, the impulse to quit feels urgent and reasonable, and instead of fighting these thoughts, instead of wrestling with them, You notice them and return again and again to the flame because the skill is not holding attention perfectly, the skill is noticing the exact moment it leaves, the moment it tries to run, because you cannot redirect what you cannot perceive, and most people never notice the instant their mind abandons them. Level 2 is peripheral vision, softening the gaze, allowing the edges of vision to exist without grasping, seeing without hunting, holding the whole room at once, training awareness without reactivity, learning to remain present without collapsing into fixation. Because fixation is fragile and awareness is strong, fixation breaks under pressure while awareness absorbs it, and slowly you become harder to manipulate, harder to pull, less reactive to every sound, movement, and impulse, less vulnerable to bait. Level 3 is deep work blocks. One task, no interruptions, 90 minutes where the mind itches for. Dopamine, invents emergencies, demands escape, tells you this is impossible, unnecessary, unhealthy, and you do not negotiate, you do not suppress, you do not obey, you notice and return again and again because discomfort is not failure, it is withdrawal, proof the addiction is breaking, proof the nervous system is being retrained, and at first the mind fights violently, then it bargains, then it grows quiet and something changes. Time stretches, ideas connect, the work deepens, presence stabilizes, the mind stops jumping because there is nowhere to jump to because it is finally full, and this is not productivity, this is sovereignty, the ability to remain where you choose to remain regardless of impulse. The modern world profits from your distraction, from your fractured attention, from your inability to sit still long enough to see clearly, because a distracted mind is easy to guide, easy to sell to, easy to exhaust. If you cannot control your attention, you cannot control your life. You will always be reacting, always responding, always behind events instead of ahead of them. So choose, remain the monkey jumping and consuming, chasing stimulation until exhaustion and calling it normal, or become the still lake, calm, reflective, dangerous, a mind that sees everything because it clings to nothing. Train your gaze, train your mind, stop wandering. The far mountain is waiting, and whether you ever reach it depends entirely on what you do with the next moment of attention.